Have you ever wondered how humans invented glass? Today, glass is everywhere around us, but thousands of years ago, it didn't exist. So where did the first glass come from? The answer begins with fire, but not ordinary fire alone. Something much hotter was needed, and nature had the perfect ingredients. One important ingredient was sand, but sand doesn't simply become glass. It needs extremely high temperatures, and that's where the mystery gets interesting. Long before modern factories existed, humans were already experimenting with heat. They didn't understand chemistry yet. They simply discovered something incredible. Under the right conditions, materials melted. And when that material cooled, it could become something completely different. But who discovered this strange material first? The earliest glass wasn't made in a modern factory. It was discovered through ancient experiments. People kept heating different natural materials. Then, one experiment produced something unusual. A hard, shiny, transparent substance appeared. They had accidentally created early glass. But making useful glass was much harder. The temperature had to be extremely high, and the ingredients had to be mixed correctly. This required patience, skill, and experimentation. Eventually, humans learned to control the process. They could shape the hot material and create simple objects from it. One of the earliest uses was decoration. Small glass beads became valuable objects. Later, humans discovered even more possibilities. Glass could be shaped into containers. It could also hold precious liquids. And eventually, glass changed human life. But the biggest transformation was still coming. Humans eventually learned to make glass much thinner, and suddenly, glass could let light pass through. This strange transparency made glass incredibly useful. But early glass was still rough and imperfect. Tiny bubbles were trapped inside many early pieces. Sometimes, the glass even had strange colors. But humans refused to stop experimenting with it. Generation after generation, their knowledge slowly improved. Their furnaces became hotter, stronger, and more controlled. Their glass also became clearer and much stronger. Then, humans made a breakthrough that changed everything. They discovered they could actually blow glass. This revolutionary technique made shaping glass much easier. Now, they could create bottles, bowls, and containers. Glass was becoming useful in everyday human life. It was no longer just a beautiful decoration. Glass had become a powerful new human technology, and its discovery began spreading across ancient civilizations. Different cultures began developing their own glass-making techniques, and this was only the beginning of glass history. But glass was about to become far more important. People discovered they could make much larger pieces, and one discovery changed architecture forever. Humans learned to place glass inside buildings. Suddenly, sunlight could enter through walls. Rooms became brighter without using fire, but clear windows were still extremely expensive. Only wealthy people could afford them at first. Then, glass-making techniques continued improving, and glass slowly became available to ordinary people. Glass was no longer limited to ancient workshops. It began traveling across countries and civilizations. Merchants carried valuable glass along major trade routes. Some pieces became symbols of wealth and status, but humans still wanted something even more useful. They wanted glass that could magnify what they saw. That simple idea would change science forever. First, humans needed to understand how glass bends light. Then, they began shaping glass into special forms, and eventually, those forms became lenses. Lenses could make tiny objects appear much larger. That gave humans a powerful new way to see. Eventually, people started using lenses to study nature. Tiny details became visible for the first time. But glass had another incredible secret. It could also help humans see very far away. By combining carefully shaped lenses, something amazing happened. Distant objects suddenly appeared much closer. This eventually led to the invention of telescopes, and humans could finally explore the sky in detail. But glass wasn't finished changing human history. It would soon become essential for modern science. Scientists began using glass to create laboratory equipment. Glass tubes made experiments safer and easier. transparent containers allowed scientists to watch reactions happen. This gave researchers something incredibly valuable: observation. They could finally study invisible processes more carefully. Glass also became essential in medicine. Doctors began using glass instruments and containers. A simple, ancient discovery had become a scientific revolution. But the biggest transformation was still ahead. Glass would eventually become part of everyday life. Windows became larger, clearer, and more affordable. Homes could now receive much more natural light. Glass also transformed transportation and communication. People began using glass in cars, trains, and buildings. Then, technology pushed glass even further. It became essential for cameras, screens, and optical devices. Today, glass is hidden inside countless technologies. And it all began with humans experimenting with fire. But there's one more reason glass became so powerful. It can protect us while still letting light through. That combination is surprisingly rare in nature. Humans learned to make glass stronger and safer. Eventually, different types of glass were developed. Some could resist heat, pressure, and sudden impacts. Others were designed to be incredibly clear. Today, specialized glass exists almost everywhere, from hospitals to laboratories and skyscrapers, all from one ancient discovery around fire. But glass has one final secret worth knowing. It isn't naturally as strong as many people think. Its strength depends on how humans process it. Heating and cooling can completely change its properties. Scientists learned to control this process precisely. That's how modern safety glass was created. Some glass can even break into safer pieces. Others can resist enormous amounts of force. This makes glass useful in dangerous environments. And that's why glass still matters today. And modern glass can do things ancient humans never imagined. Some glass can block harmful ultraviolet light. Some can control how much sunlight enters buildings. Others can carry information through tiny strands. These are called optical fibers. They use glass to transmit light incredibly far. That means glass helps carry our internet. Your messages and videos can travel through glass. A material discovered thousands of years ago powers modern communication. And that's where the story gets truly incredible. But glass has another surprising ability. It can be engineered to control electricity and heat. That's why modern devices use specialized glass. Your smartphone is a perfect example. Its screen is made from specially engineered glass. It must be clear, thin, and incredibly durable. And millions of people use it every single day. Think about that for a moment. A prehistoric discovery is now in your hand. From a campfire to a smartphone. That's an incredible journey. But smartphones are only one part of the story. Glass is also helping scientists explore outer space. Telescopes use carefully engineered glass to capture distant light. That light can reveal incredibly distant galaxies. Some glass even protects astronauts and spacecraft. It can block dangerous radiation from space. Glass also helps scientists study the tiniest particles. Microscopes use lenses made from specially designed glass. Without glass, modern science would look completely different. And it all traces back to an ancient discovery. Yet glass is still evolving even today. Scientists continue creating stronger and smarter glass. Some new glass can change its appearance. Others can become darker when sunlight gets stronger. This can make buildings cooler and more energy efficient. Glass is even being developed for future technologies. Scientists are testing flexible and incredibly thin glass. Some could become part of future electronic devices. The possibilities seem almost endless. And humans are still discovering what glass can do. So how did a simple material become so important? It started with humans experimenting around ancient fires. They discovered that ordinary sand could transform. Heat, minerals, and patience created something completely new. Then generations of humans improved that discovery. They learned to shape it, strengthen it, and control it. Eventually, glass became part of science and technology. Today, it connects people across the entire planet. And it even helps us explore distant space, all because ancient humans discovered what fire could create.